Hi everybody, I'm Lance. I'm going to smoke a turkey today on the Weber kettle. And in all, it's about a maybe 3.5 hour cook. I'm going to try to keep the temperature down below 300 or so, and they turn out great. So first let me show you some of the tools of the trade here. And what we're going to do is the indirect method, of course, because it's a turkey breast. And I've got about a dozen coals over here on this side and about a dozen coals on this side, then another 10 or 15 or so in the chimney. What you do is you get them nice and hot in the chimney, and then after they're ready to go, you just dump them out in the middle, and then with a pair of tongs, you line them up over here on this side and line up some more on this side so that the heat will kind of snake around. And then before we start all that, I'll put on the applewood chips, and I've got some more set up inside that we're going to show you. But all in all, with the charcoal snaking around like this, you'll get a good 3.5 hour cook out of about 30, maybe 35 pieces of charcoal. The charcoal I'm using today is a Chef Wagon. It's a longer burning, higher temperature charcoal that I've been pretty happy with. Been using it quite a bit this fall. And let's head on inside and I'll show you the tools of the trade in there. Hi, I'm back. Now we're inside, and I'll go over some of the tools of the trade here. This is obviously just the dollar store cooking tin that'll sit in the middle of the grill around the coals and catch the drippings and do whatever else you want to put in here. Maybe some water, and then what the water can do is it evaporates, hopefully keep the turkey from drying out a little bit. Today we've got a real small breast that we're going to do. This is only not quite a 5-pound breast. Generally you want to think about half an hour per pound, so might only be a 2.5 hour cook. I'm going to try to make it about 3 hours by keeping the temperature lower. The applewood chips I'm using are just these barbecue wood flavor soaking apple chips or smoking chips. I've had them sitting in a cup of water for about half an hour or so, and they'll be in another half hour or so. And then when the coals, what I'll do on the ones that aren't lit yet is I'll put them out there now, and then on the other ones when they're lit, then I'll put those on top. And again, if you keep that temperature down below 300 or so, they won't ignite and just provide a real good apple smoke flavor that I'd like to use with turkey and chicken. Another tool of the trade are these ThermPro temperature probes. And it's a 2-piece unit. This is the unit that reads the temperature in the house. This is the probe that I'll put on the grill so that I get a real good, accurate grill temperature reading. And then this probe will go in the bird. And with turkey, you want to get it real close to 165, not let it go over 165 degrees because then it'll start to dry out a little bit too much. This little apparatus, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to use it. It's one of those beer can chicken holders, and anybody who's ever made that, you just put the chicken on top and a can of beer here in the middle. I'm not going to put a beer in here with the turkey, but with this, I'm hoping if it'll fit, it'll keep the bird from tipping over, because you get these birds on the grill, and if they tip over like this, suddenly you're not doing indirect cooking anymore. Now you've got it sitting over the coals, and that's not going to turn out well. So we'll pause a little bit. I'll get the turkey out of the bag, and we'll start a little seasoning. I don't do a whole lot of seasoning with the turkeys because the smoke flavor adds so much to it, but we'll just do a little salt and pepper and get that flavored up and get the grill ready to go. So we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so we're back. Looks like the beer can chicken holder is going to work, so it'll keep it from tipping over. If you can get a shot in on the hot coals, we'll see where those are in the chimney and they're doing well. And then I'm going to put my apple chips on, and I'll be back in just a minute. Go. Okay, so you can see where I got the hot coals on like either side of the charcoal and some of the soaked applewood chips there in the middle. I put my pan down in the middle with just the water that I was soaking the chips in, pour that in there, and then it'll catch the rest of the drippings and stuff. I'm not using the drippings obviously because the wood was soaking in that charcoal, but I'm going to put the lid on. We'll come back in a little bit, check the temperature, and I'm going to close the vents about halfway once the temperature hits about 250, 275, and we'll control the temperature that way, and we'll be back in a little bit. Thanks. Okay, so we're about an hour and a half into the cook, and things are going really well so far. We can see here I've got these top vents about halfway open, and then down here on the bottom vents I've got it just past that second hole, so the vents are almost all the way open on the bottom. I might close those up a little bit now, because you can see from the temperature gauge that we're running about, well, the meat's at 126 degrees and the grill is running at about 274, so maybe it's a little bit hot. And what I do when I do these cooks is I keep track of my timesheet. So with this one here, we put it on at 125, and then I check the temperature about 5 minutes in, and the grill was at 175, and the bird got up, it was 53, pretty much right out of the fridge. And then here now, about an hour and a half, really about an hour into it, it was 108 degrees at 250 degrees, and I'm trying to keep it between that 250 and 300 range. So we'll give it another hour or so, and then it might be getting pretty close to done. Okay, everybody, so it's been right at about 3 hours and 20 minutes on the grill, and the temperature's still at a good 247 degrees on the grill, and then the turkey's at 164. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off now, and here we are for the big moment. Come on in and get a good shot of the turkey. Let's see what it looks like. Lid's coming off. How about that? So we are looking good on the breast. Didn't tip over. Got a good temperature. So I'm going to take it off the grill. We'll take it inside and pick it up there. So there was one more thing I wanted to show you on the way I was snaking the charcoal and cooking like that. And you can see I only started with about 35 coals, and I've got a pretty fair number left on this side. This side's pretty well burnt out. Maybe I could have done it with a few fewer than 35, but you know, you don't want to run out. You don't want to have to start it, because that was the first time I took the lid off in all, you know, almost 3.5 hours. So looked like a pretty successful cook, and we'll see what it looks like when I cut it up. Okay, so we had a real successful cook today on our smoked turkey breast. Again, just over 3 hours on the grill. Had the grill temperature between like 250 and 300 most of the day. Got a real moist breast here, and again, didn't brine this one, just kind of salt and peppered the outside. So I'll put a little summary on the at the end of the video that talks about some of the steps we took. And thanks for watching the video, and hope you enjoyed it.